What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on also to get notified of all this content as and when it drops on the channel. So let's get into it. So coming soon to a screen near you, I guess this is the main event to open up PBC's venture with Amazon Prime. Now, many of you will know in the boxing world that Amazon Prime and PBC Premier Boxing Champions, they have a deal. So they're going to be, what Amazon Prime's going to be doing is distributing the PBC fight cards on their platform. So you got the potential there for a lot of viewership. I don't know how well this thing is going to go, because I suppose a lot of people that are on Amazon Prime are on there for different reasons. But at the same time, I suppose you got Premier League football from over here in England, where they get some games on there. So, hopefully it goes well. But anyway, I guess one of the main events, the first main events and the first pay-per-views they're going to stick on this Amazon Prime is going to be headlined by TIMTSZYU versus Keith one-time Thurman. And for me personally, I think that this is one of those fights where it's a bit of a, I don't know, it's one of those where I don't even know much what to say about it, really. I think for TIMTSZYU, I suppose it's a bit more exposure for him. I don't think this is going to be a fight for TIMTSZYU where there's going to be much by way of benefit to him, because Keith Thurman is not a light middleweight, and I think the interesting thing, it's not that interesting, but this fight is going to be fought at 155 pounds, which is above the limit for TIMTSZYU's world title. So it's not even going to be a defense of TIMTSZYU's belt at 154. So it's literally just going to be a fight, just a catchweight fight against Keith Thurman. And to be honest, I don't really give Keith Thurman much of a chance in this fight. I think you can't really give him much chance, because this is a guy that in this time span of 4.5 years, whatever it is, he's only had 2 fights, and he's 1-1 in those 2 fights. I mean, one fight he had was all the way back in 2019, which seems like an age ago now. That's a good 4+ years ago now, and that was a loss to Manny Pacquiao, I think it was. And then in 2022 he had another fight against Mario Barrios, and Mario Barrios at the time, I don't think anyone really knew much about him. He was sort of an unheralded guy, and Thurman fought him and beat him on points, and he didn't really look all that great in that fight either. He didn't look good against Pacquiao, and he probably, I don't know, he might have even looked worse against Barrios. So going into this, Tszyu is dealing with a man who's not been in the ring in a good 2-year period, is very prone to injuries. This guy, he gets injured a lot, and he doesn't fight regularly at all. So it's going to be, for me, pretty much like a one-sided beatdown in favor of TIMTSZYU. And I'm expecting TIMTSZYU to probably get Keith Thurman out of there, just down to the size of TIMTSZYU. The age is a lot younger, and the inactivity of Keith Thurman. I don't think Keith Thurman's really a light middleweight or super welterweight, whatever you call it. He's not really that way. He's obviously has had no real competitive activity in a very long time, so he doesn't really stand much of a chance in this fight. And personally, I think it's a bit of a cheek that the PBC are going to put this on pay-per-view, because this is one of those where I could sort of understand if you had a great main event or something, or some good fights, good competitive fights, but this is a joke of a fight, really, to be honest with you. So I think them putting this on pay-per-view, unless they're gonna radically sort of decrease the price to make it like a cheap pay-per-view that is like a cheap for the consumer. If it's not going to be something that's very cheap, then I don't think this is really worth much. I don't think this is worth no pay-per-view. I think, in England, we certainly wouldn't pay for it, and I mean, in America, if they're asking for $80 or even $50 or anything like that, I think, to me, that's ridiculous. I suppose it all comes down to money. What these guys want to get paid is going to be a fortune, but at the same time, um, you do it on pay-per-view, then you're probably gonna lose a fortune anyway. And I think having something on Amazon Prime, you've got the potential there to get a massive audience. So I'd say, why not make it free or included in the subscription, or maybe make people have to pay, I don't know, an extra $10 or an extra something like that, where it's at least it's more accommodating for the average man. Because the amount of, if you're a person that buys or pay a lot all these pay-per-views they put on, and then you're gonna have to pay now another 50 or 80 or 60 or whatever amount of dollars for what is essentially a mismatch, then that's a joke. And I think that will turn people off, if they're not turned off already, off of this whole venture on Amazon. If it's just going to be another thing where it's a platform and you're just going to get ripped off with constant pay-per-views. I think Tank Davis is going to fight. He might be fighting in England as well. I think him with a good opponent, yeah, fair enough. But if they're going to do the same sort of thing with him, a mismatch and that, then, it's a bit of a joke. So, yeah, to me, I think this fight, going on the facts that we know about Thurman, this is going to just be an absolute mismatch and stoppage victory for TIMTSZYU. That's what I think about it. And I don't think it's worth a pay-per-view at all. I think they should find some other solution other than making this a pay-per-view, because there are other, pay-per-views have shown that it's not a model that really makes a lot of money, and they're going to lose a lot of people, I think, if they make this some ridiculous price. So hopefully they make it, since it is pay-per-view, hopefully they make it cheap and affordable for the fan base, so that when you do that, you might even encourage more people to be interested in your brand and interested in your other fight cards. If you make it a nice affordable price for people, then more people might be interested in what it is you're selling. But for me, it's a mismatch, and yeah, TIMTSZYU all the way for me. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Until next time, it's MK Pugilism, over and out.